Give me a sense, Vance, of how much carpet is made here in Dalton, Georgia.
Well, probably 80% of the carpet made in the United States, maybe more, 85% is made right here in call it a 60-mile radius of Dalton in northwest Georgia.
And Shaw is the biggest carpet manufacturer in the U.S.?
Yes.
And in the world?
And in the world.
Most people would like it to a giant sewing machine with just a bunch of needles.
Shaw's plant here in Dalton, Georgia is the largest residential carpet manufacturing plant in the world. How hard did the recession and the housing bubble hit this industry?
Well, it hit the industry very hard. If you go from the peak of 2005 or 2006 through, let's say, last year, the industry lost right at 40% of its units. And so that's a tremendous decline in terms of unit volume and production for the industry. And most of that obviously was tied around the residential housing market.
You're selling into that market daily.
Right.
You've got a very good read on how the housing market is doing. What are you seeing?
I guess what we're seeing and some of the anecdotal evidence that we're seeing is I do believe that we're getting close to a clearing point. We're getting close to a tipping point. And certainly in some locales, some locations, you're starting to see that. The multifamily side of the business, multifamily new construction, apartments and condos, that's actually growing, and it's growing pretty nicely in some markets. We don't expect a rapid growth. We don't expect that kind of increase, but we think from this point on there's going to be some steady positives around housing.
Has the recession taught this company to produce more with less? What have been the lessons learned?
Well, certainly we've had to go through a lot of downsizing, a lot of rationalizing of our infrastructure. But we've also, over the last 5 years, maybe not like some companies, we've invested very heavily during the worst parts of this downturn. I mean, we've spent right at $1 billion just in capital expenditures in the last 5 years on new technology, new equipment, automation, systems, and logistics.
Technology that helps us be safer, faster, more productive, and have less waste. We've had to incorporate that technology in order to stay competitive in the marketplace. Raw materials are by far our highest expense.
In the toughest time for this industry and a tough time for the company, you put $1 billion to work. You spent $1 billion.
Right. Well, because we're a long-term company, and Warren Buffett obviously encourages us to always build the moat and always be investing when it makes sense. And what we wanted to do was make sure that when we got to a recovery point that we were prepared and that we were ready and that we had everything in place that we needed to take advantage of that recovery, and our people take advantage of that.
Why on earth would you guys want all of this old carpet?
Well, Shaw Industries is the #1 carpet manufacturer in the world, and because of that, we want to be the #1 post-consumer carpet collector.
A recycler, really?
Yes, and to do that, we have to have a facility that's capable of taking any and all types of carpet.
And the idea here is basically incinerate the carpet, create energy, steam, to use in the factory next door.
That's correct.
One of the interesting things is the technology and the automation we put in is changing the job skills and changing the job requirements to a much more technical, skill-based, higher skill-based mechanical and electronics and higher-paying jobs. So we teach electronics. I mean, we even teach some math and statistics in our training area so people can operate the process controls and the automation that's on the equipment. So over time, that's a very positive thing for the community and for our employment base.
Is this going to remain the carpet capital of America, maybe the carpet capital of the world?
No question.
No question?
No question.
Why?
It's not going to move. Labor cost is a fairly small component of the overall manufacturing cost. All of our logistics, all of our distribution is set up here. It makes sense to have manufacturing here. It will be the main hub of carpet production going forward. It's really not going to go anywhere else.